What if the first 30 minutes of your day could decide whether you succeed or fail? Most people ruin their entire future before breakfast. Here's how to stop self-sabotage before it starts. Think about the last time you woke up feeling unstoppable. That wasn't luck. It wasn't random. There's a hidden pattern behind every great life, and it starts the second you open your eyes. But here's the problem. Most mornings are a mess. Hitting snooze, rushing, starting the day already behind. And that chaos, it follows you for hours. But there's a way to flip it. Let's talk about how. 1. The secret weapon of the unstoppable. There is a moment just before the world reaches for you, when everything is still possible. The greatest men and women who ever lived knew this. They understood that the first thoughts you allow into your mind upon waking set the tone for all that follows. It is not about grand gestures or complicated plans. It is about the quiet, deliberate act of choosing before anything else can choose for you. Imagine your mind at dawn, fresh, open, like blank paper. What is written there in those first moments will echo through your hours. Most people waste this. They let the noise in immediately. The rush, the worry, the distractions that pull them in 10 directions before their feet even touch the floor. But those who achieve extraordinary things do the opposite. They guard those early moments like a sacred ritual, not because they are rigid or obsessed with control, but because they know the truth. Small seeds grow into mighty trees. Think of a blacksmith shaping steel. He does not strike once and expect a masterpiece. He applies heat, then force, again and again with patience and precision. Your mind is no different. The thoughts you hammer into it at the start of your day become the foundation of everything you build. If you fill it with haste, your day will feel fractured. If you fill it with purpose, even the unexpected storms will not shake you. So what do the unstoppable feed their minds first? Clarity. Not goals scribbled in frantic lists, but a single question. Who do I choose to be today? Not what to do, but how to be. The actions will follow, but the identity comes first. A soldier does not wake up wondering if he will be brave. He knows his duty. A craftsman does not debate whether to care about his work. It is already in his bones. Your morning ritual is where you decide every day who you are. This is not about positive thinking or empty affirmation. It is about conditioning. The same way a musician practices scales until their fingers move without thought, or a boxer drills footwork until it becomes instinct. You are training your mind to default strength, not fear, to focus, not fragmentation, and it begins the instant you wake. Here is how to put this into practice. When you open your eyes, do not move. Do not reach for anything. Lie there for 30 seconds and breathe. Let your first thought be gratitude. Not because it is fashionable, but because it anchors you in what you already have, not what you lack. Then ask yourself, what is the one quality I need most today? Courage, patience, creativity, name it, claim it. That is your theme for the day. The world will try to interrupt this. The phone will buzz. The clock will shout. The demands will pile up, but those first minutes belong to you. Protect them. What you plant in the quiet of the morning will bear fruit in the noise of the day. 2. The 5-minute rule that changes everything. Chaos does not announce itself. It creeps in through small cracks, the snoozed alarm, the skipped breakfast, the frantic search for keys. What starts as a minor inconvenience becomes a ripple, then a wave, until by midday you are drowning in reactions, not actions. But there is a way to stop this before it starts. It takes 5 minutes, not 5 hours. Not 50 steps. 5 deliberate minutes where you refuse to let the outside world dictate your rhythm. Most people lose their day in the first 5 minutes after waking because they surrender their attention immediately. They check messages, scroll through updates, or jump into tasks without ever deciding how they want to feel. It is like setting sail without checking the wind. You might move, but not in the direction you intended. The rule is simple. When you wake up, sit up. Place your feet on the floor. Breathe. Count 5 breaths in, 5 breaths out. This is not meditation. This is resetting your nervous system from sleep to waking without panic. Then ask, what is the one thing I want to own today? Not achieve, not complete. Own. A feeling, a mindset, a way of moving through the world. For example, you might choose calm, not because your day will be easy, but because you know it will be hard, and calm is your weapon. Or you might choose decisive, because procrastination has cost you too much. The word is yours to pick, but it must be specific. productive is too vague. Focus for 3 hours on my most important task is a target. Now here is the critical part. Do not act until you have answered this question. If you move without clarity, you are already behind. This is why the 5-minute rule works. It forces you to pause long enough to choose your direction. Otherwise, you default to whatever shouts loudest. Some will say they do not have 5 minutes. They are the ones who waste hours later correcting avoidable mistakes. The pilot does not skip the pre-flight check because he is in a hurry. The surgeon does not rush into the operating room without reviewing the plan. Your day deserves the same respect. To make this stick, tie it to something you already do. After you turn off the alarm, sit up. After you brush your teeth, stand still for 5 breaths and name your intent. Habits are built by linking new behaviors to existing ones. There will be mornings when this feels impossible, when the house is loud, or the mind is foggy, or the weight of unfinished business presses down. On those days, shorten the rule to 1 minute, 1 breath, 1 word. But do not skip it. Consistency is not about perfection. It is about showing up in some form every time. The 5-minute rule is not about adding more to your plate. It is about removing everything that does not serve the day you want to create. Master this, and you master the first domino, the one that tips all the others in the right direction. The lie of I don't have time. The greatest thief of human potential is not lack of talent, lack of opportunity, or even lack of resources. It is the whispered excuse that has stopped more dreams in their tracks than any other. I don't have time. This lie is so common that most people never question it. They say it with a shrug, as if it were an unchangeable law of nature, like the sun rising or the tide coming in. But here is the truth, plain and undeniable. You do not need more time. You need better use of the time you already have. Consider this. The average person lives 70, 80, perhaps 90 years. That is thousands of days, tens of thousands of hours. And yet when asked why they have not built the life they truly want, they point to the clock as if it were their enemy. But time is not the enemy. The enemy is the belief that only grand sweeping gestures count, that unless you can dedicate hours at a stretch, there is no point in starting at all. This could not be further from the truth. The most powerful changes in life come not from sudden, dramatic transformations, but from small, consistent actions repeated over time. A river carves through rock not by force, but by persistence. A single drop of water means nothing, but drops added to drops, day after day, year after year. That is how canyons are formed. You do not need hours to change your life. You need minutes, used wisely, used daily. 6 minutes spent stretching in the morning will do more for your body than a 2-hour workout once a month. 10 minutes spent reading a single page of a great book will teach you more in a year than skimming entire volumes in a rushed weekend. 15 minutes spent writing down what you are grateful for will reshape your mind in ways that hours of mindless entertainment never could. The magic is not in the length of time you spend. It is in the repetition. It is in showing up day after day, even when you do not feel like it, even when the results are not yet visible, even when the world tells you it is too small to matter. Think of a man planting an oak tree. He does not stand there demanding to see the shade. He plants the seed, waters it, and waits. He trusts the process. He understands that growth happens beneath the surface long before it is visible above. Your habits are the same. The man who reads 10 pages a day will finish more books in a year than the man who waits for enough time to read whole volumes. The woman who writes a few sentences of gratitude each morning will develop a deeper sense of peace than the one who waits for a vacation to finally relax. Time is not the issue. Priority is the issue. When someone says they do not have time for something, what they are really saying is that it is not important enough to them, and that is fine, but they must be honest about it. If you truly wanted something, you would find a way. If you truly did not want it, you would find an excuse. So the question is not, do you have time? The question is this important enough? If it is, then start small. Start now. Do not wait for the perfect moment, because the perfect moment does not exist. There will always be reasons to delay, always obstacles in the way. The only way forward is to begin not with hours, but with minutes. Not with perfection, but with persistence. The hinges that swing the biggest doors are often the smallest. The enemies of progress, and how to beat them. Every morning the battle begins anew. Not with outside forces, not with external enemies, but with the quiet, subtle saboteurs that live inside your own mind. They do not attack with swords or shouts. They kill with whispers, with distractions, with the slow erosion of focus. There are three primary enemies of progress. They are always present, always waiting, always looking for a way in. If you do not recognize them, they will steal your days before you even realize they are gone. The first enemy is hurry. Hurry is the feeling that you must rush, that you are already behind, that there is no time to think, only to react. It is the frantic energy of a man running late, even when he has nowhere to be. Hurry makes everything shallow. It turns deep work into scattered effort. It replaces thought with motion, wisdom with speed. A mind in hurry cannot focus. It jumps from task to task, never settling, never fully present. And when the day is done, it wonders why so little was accomplished despite so much movement. The second enemy is noise. Noise is not just sound. It is anything that pulls your attention away from what matters. The chatter of other people's opinions, the endless stream of information that demands your eyes, your ears, your thoughts. Noise drowns out your intuition, that quiet inner voice that knows what you truly need to do. A mind surrounded by noise cannot hear itself. It becomes a slave to the loudest voice in the room rather than the wisest. The third enemy is reactivity. Reactivity is the habit of letting the world set your agenda. It is waking up and immediately checking messages, emails, demands, allowing others to decide where your energy goes. Reactivity puts you on defense, always responding, never initiating. It is the opposite of control. A reactive mind does not move forward, it is pushed. These three enemies, hurry, noise, reactivity, work together. They create a cycle of distraction, stress, and wasted effort. But they can be beaten, not by fighting them directly, but by replacing them with something stronger. The antidote to hurry is slowness. Not laziness, not procrastination, but deliberate, intentional action. It is the difference between a man running in circles and a man walking steadily toward a destination. Slowness means doing fewer things, but doing them well. It means pausing before you act, thinking before you speak, moving with purpose rather than panic. The antidote to noise is silence. Not the absence of sound, but the presence of clarity. It is the habit of turning away from distractions long enough to hear your own thoughts. Silence might mean waking up before the rest of the world, or sitting quietly for 5 minutes before starting your day. It is in these moments that the best ideas come, that the clearest decisions are made. The antidote to reactivity is intention. Intention is deciding in advance how you want your day to go. It is writing down your most important task before anything else can interrupt. It is making your bed with care, not because it matters in the grand scheme, but because it is the first act of discipline in a day full of choices. You do not need to eliminate hurry, noise, and reactivity all at once. You only need to weaken them, one small victory at a time. Start tomorrow. When you wake up, do not reach for your phone. Do not jump out of bed in a panic. Sit up, breathe. Let the first minutes of your day belong to you, not to the world. The enemies of progress are strong, but they are not invincible. Every time you choose slowness over hurry, silence over noise, intention over reactivity, you win. And winning the morning is the first step toward winning the day. 5. The ritual that builds unshakable confidence. Confidence is not something you are born with. It is not a gift given to some and withheld from others. It is not luck. It is evidence. Cold, hard proof that you have shown up for yourself enough times to know, beyond any doubt, that you will do it again. Think of the last time you felt truly confident. Not the fleeting surface-level kind that comes from a compliment or a stroke of good fortune, but the deep, unshakable kind that sits in your bones. Where did it come from? Chances are, it was not from words or wishes. It was from action. From the quiet knowledge that you had done the work, faced the challenge, and come out stronger on the other side. This is why confidence cannot be faked. It cannot be borrowed. It must be earned, one small win at a time. And here is the secret. The size of the win does not matter. What matters is the consistency, the repetition, the act of proving to yourself, day after day, that you can be trusted to do what you say you will do. Start with something so small it is impossible to fail. 10 push-ups, not 50, not a full workout, just 10. One page of journaling, not a novel, not a manifesto, just a few honest sentences. A cold splash of water on your face, not an ice bath, not some extreme challenge, just a moment of discomfort, willingly embraced. These things may seem insignificant, but that is the point. You are not training your body with 10 push-ups. You are training your mind. You are teaching yourself that when you set an intention, you follow through. That when you say you will do something, you do it, no matter how small. And here is what happens next. Those tiny wins begin to stack. Like bricks in a foundation, they build something solid beneath you. At first you barely notice it, but over time, the evidence becomes undeniable. You start to trust yourself, not because you are perfect, but because you have proven again and again that you will show up. This is the opposite of how most people approach confidence. They wait for it to magically appear before they take action. They think, once I feel confident, then I will start. But that is backward. Confidence does not come first. Action comes first. Confidence follows. The man who does 10 push-ups every morning without fail does not do them because he is already strong. He does them because he knows that strength, both physical and mental, is built through repetition. The woman who writes one page in her journal each day does not do it because she is already wise. She does it because wisdom comes from reflection, and reflection comes from practice. You do not need grand gestures to build confidence. You need small daily rituals that prove to yourself, above all, that you are someone who keeps promises, even the ones you make to yourself. So choose your ritual. Make it simple. Make it something you can do no matter how you feel, no matter what else is happening in your life. And then do it. Not for a week, not for a month, but for as long as it takes to look back and realize that the person you were when you started is not the person you are now. That is how confidence is built. Not by luck, not by chance, but by the quiet, relentless proof that you can trust yourself. 6. When motivation fades. This is what matters. There will come a morning, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, when you open your eyes and feel nothing. No fire, no drive, no excitement. Just the weight of the blankets and the temptation to close your eyes again. This is not failure. This is the test. Motivation is a fair weather friend. It shows up when the sun is shining, when the path is clear, when everything in you wants to move. But discipline is the friend who stays, the one who shows up in the rain, in the dark, when every bone in your body says stay down. Discipline is not for the days you feel like doing the work. It is for the days you don't. And here is the truth. Those days matter more than all the other. Because anyone can keep a promise when it's easy. Anyone can follow through when they're inspired. But the days when you do it anyway, when you drag yourself up, when you go through the motions even though every part of you resists, those are the days that define you. So what do you do when motivation fades? You do the ritual anyway, but you make it smaller. If you normally do 10 push-ups, do 1. If you normally write a page, write a sentence. If you normally sit in silence for 5 minutes, sit for 30 seconds. The goal is not to perform at your peak. The goal is to keep the thread intact. Think of it like a chain. Every day you do something, no matter how small, you add another link. The chain grows stronger. The habit becomes part of you. But if you skip a day, the chain breaks. And once it's broken, it's easier to break again. This is why the smallest possible action matters. It is not about the push-up. It is about the principle. It is about proving to yourself that even on your worst days, you are still the kind of person who shows up. Some will say this is pointless. What good is one push-up? What good is one sentence? But they miss the deeper truth. The action itself is not the point. The commitment is. The refusal to let a single day pass without honoring the promise you made to yourself. Because here is what happens when you do this. You learn that motivation is optional, that you can act without it, that you are stronger than your moods, your excuses, your fleeting desire. And over time, something shifts. The days when you don't feel like doing the work become fewer. Not because the work gets easier, but because you get stronger. Because you have built a habit so deep that it feels stranger not to do it. So when motivation fades, and it will, do not despair. Do not wait for it to return. Lower the bar. Take the smallest step. Keep the chain unbroken. The days you don't feel like it are the days that matter most. The invisible power of order. There is a silent force that shapes every morning, one most never notice, yet one that decides more than we realize. It is not willpower. It is not motivation. It is order. The unseen arrangement of your surroundings that either pulls you forward or holds you back before you've even begun. Think of the last time you walked into a cluttered room. The scattered papers, the misplaced items, the unfinished tasks staring back at you. Did you feel energized, focused, ready to create? Or did you feel the weight of it all before you'd even taken a step? The mind responds to order the same way the body responds to clean air. In chaos, it struggles to breathe. In clarity, it thrives. This is why the first moments of your morning are not just about what you do, they are about what you see. The objects in your line of sight when you open your eyes, the space around you when you rise. These things speak before you've even spoken to yourself, and their message is either move forward or stay stuck. Most people never consider this. They stumble out of bed into a room that hasn't been prepared. They reach for a phone filled with other people's demands. They begin their day reacting instead of choosing. And then they wonder why their focus scatters, why their energy dips, why they feel behind before they've even started. But there is another way. The night before, take 5 minutes, just 5, to set the stage for the morning you want. Place a book where you'll see it first. One that sharpens your mind, not dulls it. Write a single sentence on a piece of paper, a reminder of who you're becoming, not just what you need to do. Clear the surfaces. Put the distractions out of sight. This is not about perfection. It is about intention. When you wake to order, something shifts. The mind, still soft from sleep, absorbs the calm instead of the chaos. The first thoughts of the day are yours to shape, not the world's to impose. And from that place, action comes more easily, not because you've forced it, but because you've removed what was blocking it. Order is not just physical, it is mental. A cluttered schedule is as paralyzing as a cluttered room. The man who wakes with 10 urgent tasks accomplishes less than the man who wakes with one clear priority. The woman who tries to focus while surrounded by unfinished projects will find her attention pulled in pieces. But the one who simplifies, who removes the unnecessary before it can take root, gains an invisible advantage. Their energy flows where they direct it, not where the chaos demands. This is the power of order. It does not shout, it does not force. It simply makes the right action easier and the wrong action harder. So tonight before sleep, ask yourself, what is the first thing I want to see tomorrow? Not the first thing you'll stumble over, not the first distraction you'll grab, the first thing that will pull you into the day with purpose. Then place it where your eyes will find it. The morning will thank you. 8. How to silence the chaos outside. The world does not sleep. It is always moving, always shouting, always demanding attention. From the moment the sun rises, the noise begins. The news, the notifications, the voices of others pushing their priorities onto yours. But here is the truth, no one tells you. You do not have to let it in. The first hour of your day is sacred. It is the foundation upon which everything else is built. And what you allow into that hour will shape the rest. Not just in what you do, but in how you think, how you feel, how you meet whatever comes later. Most people give this hour away without realizing its worth. They reach for their phones before their feet hit the floor. They let the world's chaos set the tone for their mind. And then they wonder why they feel scattered, why they react instead of lead, why the day controls them more than they control it. But there is another way. Silence the chaos by refusing it entry. When you wake, do not reach for the noise. Do not check the messages. the updates, the endless stream of information that will still be there in an hour. Let the first moments belong to you, to your thoughts, your intentions, the quiet voice within that knows what you truly need. This is not about ignoring the world forever. It is about building strength before you face it. Think of it like a warrior preparing for battle. He does not run onto the field the moment he opens his eyes. He steadies his mind. He focuses his energy. He chooses his stance. Only then does he engage. Your day is no different. The quieter the start, the louder your impact later. Because when you protect that first hour, something changes. The thoughts you feed grow stronger than the thoughts forced upon you. The clarity you cultivate cuts through the fog others are still lost in. The calm you build becomes armor against the chaos that breaks those who did not prepare. This is not avoidance. It is strategy. The world will always be loud, but you get to decide when you listen. So tomorrow, when you wake, try this. Sit up, breathe. Let the silence sit with you for just 5 minutes. Write one sentence, what you want from the day, not what the world wants from you. Read one page, something that lifts your mind, not drains it. Then and only then, open the door to the noise. You'll notice the difference, not because the world has changed, but because you have. The million-dollar question to ask every morning. There is a question so powerful that answering it correctly can change the trajectory of your entire day. It is not complicated. It does not require deep analysis or hours of thought, but it demands honesty, the kind that cuts through excuses and gets straight to what matters. Here it is. What is the one thing, if I do it today, will make everything else easier? Not 10 things, not 5, 1. Most people never ask this. They wake up with a mental list of tasks, obligations, and half-formed plans swirling in their heads. They start working, but they are not working on the right thing. They are busy, but not effective. They move, but not in the direction that truly matters. This is how days slip by, weeks, years. The difference between those who accomplish what they set out to do and those who wonder where the time went often comes down to this single practice. Identifying and completing the one task that makes all other tasks lighter, simpler, or even unnecessary. Think of it like a domino. The right domino, when pushed, knocks over everything else in its path. The wrong domino just sits there, leaving the rest untouched. Your job each morning is to find that domino. How? First, eliminate everything that does not qualify as the thing. The emails, the minor errands, the small tasks that give the illusion of progress, set them aside. They are not the domino. They are the noise. Next, look for the task that carries weight, the one that, if completed, would lift a burden from your shoulder, the one that would make other tasks fall into place. It might be making a difficult phone call you've been avoiding, writing the first draft of a proposal, having a conversation that needs to happen, exercising so the rest of the day feels sharper. Whatever it is, it will not always be the most urgent thing, but it will be the most important. Then do it first, not after coffee, not after checking messages. First, because here is what happens when you do. The rest of the day unfolds differently. You move with confidence, not because everything is done, but because the heaviest weight is lifted. The mind clears. The energy shifts. What once felt overwhelming now feels manageable. And if you do this every day, that is when the real change happens. Not from a single act of discipline, but from the accumulation of days where you chose the right domino and pushed it. So tomorrow, before you do anything else, ask the question, then answer it, then act. The rest will follow. 10. The unbreakable law of momentum. Mornings are deceptive. They feel small, insignificant, just another start to another day. But beneath the surface, something far more powerful is at work. A law as unbreakable as gravity, as certain as the sunrise. The law of momentum. What you do in the first hours of your day does not just start your day, it steers it. And not just that day, but the one after it, and the one after that. A single disciplined morning creates a ripple. The mind remembers the focus, the clarity, the sense of control. It begins to expect it, to crave it. And the next morning it is easier to repeat. But a rushed morning, that creates its own ripple. The mind remembers the chaos, the reactivity, the feeling of being behind before you've begun. And the next morning it expects that too. This is how lives are shaped, not by grand sweeping decisions made once and for all, but by small daily choices that compound over time. Most people never realize this. They treat each morning as if it exists in isolation, disconnected from the one before it and the one after. They hit snooze one day and tell themselves it doesn't matter. They skip their ritual just this once. They ignore the domino, but it does matter. Because momentum does not care about your excuses. It only cares about direction. Every morning you are faced with a choice to build momentum or to break it, to strengthen the habit of discipline or to weaken it. There is no neutral. There is no standing still. This is why the first hour is sacred. It is not just about what you accomplish in those minutes. It is about the message you send to yourself. I am in control, or I am at the mercy of the day. The choice seems small in the moment, but over weeks, months, years, that is when the truth becomes undeniable. The man who masters his mornings masters his life, not because those hours are magical, but because they set the tone for all that follows. The woman who starts with intention builds a life of intention, not by force but by the steady pull of consistency. Time will not wait for you to decide. The law is already in motion. The only question is, which direction will you choose? You don't need a perfect routine. You need a personal one. Something so simple you can't ignore it. Something so powerful it reshapes your days. Start tomorrow, not with a revolution, just a decision. Sit up, breathe. Own the first 5 minutes. The rest will follow.